All right, all right. All right. We are back with another edition of the Leo G Show. I am Leo G, man, and podcasting is what we do. It's a hobby, it's fun, so we're going to continue to do it. I am here with the two other brothers that are on the marquee that's been helping me do this all the way now up into episode 51. So we bring you episode 51 tonight, and we're going to do it our way. Got a lot to talk about tonight, got a lot to discuss. So with no further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the two people that are top billing on the marquee, man. First, I'm going to kick it over to my man, Derrico, out there in South Carolina. What's going on, brother?
What's up, Leo G?
Hey, man, I can't
Hey,
call.
I'll take South Carolina. I'll take South Carolina.
Well, you know what, man? It's funny because, in just a minute we're gonna get into some college football talk. That's what we're gonna do tonight, man. You a little close to one of them schools out here, actually in Georgia. So we'll talk about that in just a minute, man. So now we're gonna kick it over to the next man that's top billing on the marquee, man. None other than my man Banks. Man, what is going on? We have had some spirited conversations here over the last couple of days, man. So I think we're ready to get this podcast on. What's up, brother?
Hey, what up, Leo G? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Time to jump into another podcast, man. I was ready to do it, man. We took a little break, man. The holidays came around. Everybody gained like 18, 25 pounds. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. As we record, this show is right after Thanksgiving, man. So we're going to get into the show. So first and foremost, before we get into the show, fellas, I want to ask you guys, did you all have a good Thanksgiving? Banks, did you have a good Thanksgiving, man?
It was wonderful spending time with family, eating some good food, good times.
That's what's up, man. Absolutely. That's what it's all about, man. Spending time with family and eating good food for real. And y'all and at the look of things, y'all know we eat. We eat. And I know we all eat up in this month. Derrico, what's up, man? Did
Hey,
you have
what's
a great
up?
Thanksgiving, man? Did you make it down to South Georgia?
Yeah, I went down to the South Georgia, spent time with the family, both families. So in between my mom's house and my in-laws' house. So yeah, we did it. Down about 3 or 4 days down there in the country.
In the country, absolutely,
Yeah,
man.
in
Did
the
you get
country.
so look, anytime you go to the country for Thanksgiving, man, it always calls for some unusual eats. Were
Oh,
there any unusual eats on the table for Thanksgiving?
yeah, I had to get them guts, dog. I had to get them guts. That's a
No.
Yeah, I had to get them guts, baby.
No,
If y'all don't
man.
know,
Banks
if y'all don't know what that is, it's the chitlins.
them chitlin, man. I hadn't eaten pork in almost 20 some odd years, man. Banks, do you partake in the chitterlings or the chitlins? Do you partake in it?
In the garbage. That's the only thing I partake in the garbage.
In the garbage on the chitterlings, man. But hey, you know what, man? To each his own, man. So I'm glad everybody had a good Thanksgiving, man. So before we get further on into the show, let's do the fit check, man. We're gonna go around the table, man. I'm gonna kick it over to Derrico first. I mean, great minds think alike since this is a college football episode tonight. Derrico, we're gonna kick it over to you, man. Let everybody know what you got on, man. That's not watching the YouTube channel. Let everybody know that's listening to the audio podcast, what you rocking.
I got on a G hat and I got on the commit to the G sweatshirt. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna commit to the G this weekend. We're gonna get that big dub on Saturday. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
We're gonna commit. That's what we doing. We committing to the G, man. You already know, man. We're gonna roll into the show. We're gonna talk about it in just a minute. Banks, over to you. What you got on, man? Let the folks know that's not watching the YouTube channel and they listen to the audio podcast. Let everybody know what you got on.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say Derrico for the win with the commit to the G. Only thing I have on is a T-shirt, Georgia with UGA on the front. I'm real simple.
The ugly Ugga too at that, man. The original ugly Ugga. That's what we talk. Not that hairy dog. Not that sketch that they made 2-3 years ago, man. That's the original ugly Ugga. That's what I'm talking about, man. UGA for real. And kick it over to me. Y'all see it. Y'all already know it's the G all day. The clean G, man. The coach's polo, man. The G on my hat. And this is how we rocking, and this is what we're going to do, man. Shout out to the undefeated Georgia Bulldogs. We're going to talk about them in just a minute as we talk about college football on this podcast, man. So another part of the show now, fellas, that we already do. We just going to, we'll get it out of the way really, really quickly because a lot of people ask, we do the show like, what are we sipping on or what do we sip on? So I'm going to kick it over to Banks you first. I don't know if you got anything exotic or exciting tonight, but, man, are you sipping on anything tonight, man, or are you just doing what you do?
I'm doing what I do, keeping it simple once again. Dilly dilly.
Dilly with the Bud Light over there, man. I see you, dog. Hey, man, sometimes you got to go to a classic, man. You got to go to what you know, man. And Bud Light has never let anybody down. I think, hey, if you when in doubt, man, if you trying to grab something, man, give it to me cold though. It's gotta be frosted cold, a little frost up in it, man. I'll take it there, cause you shaking your head, man. I'm gonna kick it on over to you, man. What you guys sipping on tonight, man, or what you want to feature tonight on the show?
Well, Bud Light is like eating chitlins now. Banks. Just want to let you know that.
Negative, sir.
I got a little scotch that Glenfiddich. And I have to have my thirst quencher. So I got a little Peroni.
A little Peroni, a little Italian style tonight.
Yeah,
Little Italian style Peroni.
Derek Cole for the win. Derek Cole for the win. Well, he is on a roll tonight, boy.
He on the roll tonight, man.
Yes,
he is
yes.
on the roll. Call him Butter because he's on the roll. That was one of my corny dad jokes.
Hey, we in pre-celebration mode over here, baby.
Pre-celebration mode indeed, man, for real, because we're going to rock this thing all the way out to this weekend, man. So, look, y'all know I've been to the bourbons, man. As Banks would say, man, I done got bougie with it, man, or whatever you want to say, man. I done got, real crazy with these bourbons. Derrico, you had a chance to come up to the house. People at the collection, man, I'm still building on it. We had a conversation off air, like, when am I going to crack the seals? I was like, hey, man, when you want to come down here, we'll crack some seals. So, and Banks, you more than welcome to come over and crack some seals with your boy, man, and we'll taste them and we'll see how they do. And then, man, we can do some review. Hey, how about this, man? You guys get a chance to come over, man, and we'll crack some seals and we'll actually do some reviews on the podcast. That might be something that we could do on the podcast, man, after we crack some seals and we take some shots and we see what we like, man. I'm willing to share my collection with you all, nobody else. So don't be bringing your homeboys, your mama, your uncle, your girlfriends, none of that. We
I'm coming. I already told you I'm coming.
That's what's up, man. So we'll definitely do that, man. So Banks, we'll definitely look to kind of schedule that, man, and keep that in our back pocket, man, and do a tasting of the bourbons, man, and then we'll do a review, and everybody will be able to get a take on whatever we take. So tonight, man, I'll tell you what I'm drinking in just a minute, but I want to feature something really, really quickly. That shout out to my Memphis fan, man. I got some people up in Memphis, and they turned me on. I was telling them that I'm on the bourbons, and they wanted to give me a Memphis bourbon straight out of Memphis, Tennessee. It's Hulling Station. This is single barrel. They have a couple of them out. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them for bringing me down this. I don't know. We had a little glitch, a little technical difficulty there, but Banks is back with us. Yeah, so this is single barrel bourbon, 116 proof, 6 years, out of Memphis. So this is one in the collection. Maybe we'll pop the seal on this and see what it's talking about, see what it tastes. It's a little hard to find, man. So I want to get into this one and see what's up. So what I'm actually drinking on tonight is, fellas, really, really quickly, Derrico, you probably remember this. This is something. This was something that I had to purchase in order to get you straight. This is Hudson Whiskey NY. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, I appreciate you taking that for the team.
Hey man, come on, I had to look out, dog. You know what I'm saying? Cause y'all just look out. I have to look out for y'all. Y'all just look out. But nah, man, for real. This Hudson Whiskey NY. This is what I'm sipping on tonight, man. It's pretty cool, man. It's a pretty cool deal. I wouldn't have never thought to get it until
because
we was in that situation.
Plain, don't it? I know that's what
I guess
it is.
it's a plain Jane bottle, man.
I know that's what it is. In the name.
It is what it is, but it's actually pretty smooth. It's actually pretty tasty, man. It's a decent deal. You know what I'm saying? It could be a definite go to when I don't want to dip into the higher end stuff. So it may be something I go back to, fellas. So hey, look, man, we're gonna get right into this show. I know we are excited about it, man. College football has now. Regular season has not come to a close, and we are now entering the week of college football conference championships. And so it's an exciting time, man. It's exciting and sad all at the same time, man, because the college football season is coming to an end. It's come and gone, fellas. It moves very, very quickly. Banks, I want to get your thoughts on that, man. College football is coming to an end, Banks, man. We only got, a couple more games left, brother.
Although it's coming to an end, Leo, but this is when it gets exciting, brother. We're coming into the college playoffs, and This is where the real games matter. This is where every down counts. Brother, you may be sad, but I'm ecstatic. It's time to watch some college football.
Hey, it is. It's time to tune in. Absolutely, man. You got to be glued in, locked in on Saturday, man. Got a lot of conference. I think we're going to start on Friday night with some of the conference championships. But the ones that actually matter that we're going to get into tonight are actually going to be on Saturday, man. So, Derek Cole, man, I'm going to kick it over to you as well, man. College football is kind of wrapping up here, coming to the end. It is exciting because we're going into the conference championships, into the playoffs, man. But how do you feel about this season, man, and where we are now?
You're right. It has been a definitely quick season. For some reason, I don't know what it was. I guess because we were shut in for a whole year last year, and you had fans in the stands, so I guess that made it more exciting. But I'm ready. I'm like Saturday. I just can't wait to Saturday to get here. We'll peak at Friday, but Saturday is where it's going to hit.
Absolutely, man. So it's going to be a college football paradise, man, going into the conference championship this weekend, man. So listen, we have had a crazy college football season this year, man. There has been a lot of parity in college football, something that we haven't seen in quite some time. Banks, good point. I'll talk about that in just a minute. There's been a lot of parity in college football, a lot of it, man. I don't know if it had to do, like you said, Derek Cole, with what happened in 2020 and a lot of things with players staying with teams, players transferring. The transfer portal was hot. A lot of guys now 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th year seniors still playing because the NCAA granted a lot of special circumstances due to COVID. So you got a lot of guys that stuck around, man, and wanted to raise their stock. A lot of guys set out. Just a lot of shakeups, man. So we've seen a lot of parity in college football this year. We have seen one dominant team, that's for certain. But we haven't seen a lot of teams assert themselves in conferences and just run the table. What's up, Derek Cole?
Oh, I was saying there's just one dominant team.
Yeah, we've seen one dominant team, and that's for certain. We're
just
going to
one.
get into that in just a minute.
Yeah.
So let's get right into it. What's up, Banks?
Derek Cole's like, no, just one.
Just one.
Just one.
Just one dominant team, man. So look, fellas, let's talk about some of the more impactful championship games this weekend that are actually going to tell us who's going to be playing for the college football championship, right? The top 4 teams in the nation, these games are going to count. There could be a lot of shakeups. But before I get into talking about these games that are going to be very making a big impact on who we see in the BCS, I want to go down tonight with the latest BCS rankings on tonight. And I think I have the correct version. If I don't, you guys can actually correct me if I'm wrong on this. But as we speak, before going into championship weekend, number 1, we have Georgia at 12-0. Number 2, we have Michigan, the Big Blue, 11-1 at number 2 in the BCS rankings. Number 3 coming in is Alabama. And number 4, holding on at 12-0, is the Cincinnati Bearcats, man. So Michigan now jumps to 2 over Alabama now at 3. Really quickly, guys, how do we feel about this BCS rankings on this evening? Derek Cole, you first.
Well, there's only 3 teams that has changed, and we already talked about it. Ain't but one team that's been dominant, so that team is number 1, and that's our UGA, Georgia, woof Bulldogs. Michigan, I knew they was going to jump Alabama, just for the simple fact that Alabama hasn't been playing as well as we are accustomed to seeing Alabama. I know Ohio State was going to get up out of there when they lost. Cincinnati, yes, I still want Cincinnati in there because that's who we'll play. So, yeah, leave Cincinnati right where they are at number 4.
I don't.
Leave them right there.
We're gonna talk about this tonight, man. Because I don't know. Cincinnati might be at number 4. They might jump. I don't know. It's gonna. Hold on.
Right.
Let's ease into this here. Let's ease into this. And my apologies. So there's no PCS no more. So Banks, I'm kicking it over to you. 1 through 4 this evening. How do you feel about the rankings as of this evening going into championship weekend?
It doesn't matter tonight because it's going to change after Saturday. It's going to change at least 2 more times. What we're seeing is just understand, Derico, that number 1's not changing. You're right. But the 2, 3, and 4 can go either way. We may see Notre Dame up in there. You know what I'm saying? It may see Oklahoma State up in there. So as of today, okay, we could roll with Michigan. We could roll with Bama. We can roll with Cincinnati. But all I know is by Saturday or Sunday or Monday of next week, it ain't gonna be that. So ask me this question again next week.
So hopefully maybe we can come back and we can do another podcast after championship weekend, fellas, if scheduling permits, and we can break this all down. Derico?
Can we say more than likely that there's only going to be one team that's moving after this weekend?
Possibly.
I'm just going to say. I'm just going to say.
Derico,
I'm just going to put it out there.
you are on 5, brother.
It ain't but one team
hey, man,
that's moving.
We got some real
you know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, I like the confidence. I like
you
the
confidence.
I just hope it ain't cockiness. I hope it ain't cockiness and it's confidence.
No, it's confidence. So, cocky is not my word.
Okay.
I'm confident that this is our year. The stars have aligned. I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to say it. We only got one championship in the city.
Okay.
So we're going to get 2 in Georgia.
Talk, man. But look, before we start crowning, man, can we get into championship weekend, man? Can we get into championship weekend, man? Let's do this. Y'all ready for it, fellas?
Let's do it.
All right. So look, guys, I know some of these matchups are not sexy. Banks, I'm talking to you. Some of these matchups are not intriguing. They're not the sexiest matchups on paper, but we still want to talk about them because they could have implications in how the top 4 shake out as far as who we see in the playoffs. So we're going to talk about them very, very quickly. So guys, what I want to do is I want to talk about them briefly, talk about the teams that are going to be involved. And I also, guys, when we complete talking about the different championships, I want you guys to get a predictions. I need a prediction out of you guys. We can go back and we can talk about this here and see how we all fared. So we're definitely going to get predictions. The first championship game I want to talk about, and I know Banks is probably going to roll his eyes, but we got to talk about this here, is the Pac-12 championship going down this Saturday in Las Vegas. Look, there it is. The Pac-12 championship we're going to talk about here. The number 11 Oregon Ducks are going to take on the number 19 Utah Utes in Las Vegas, man, out there at Allegiant Stadium, man. Pac-12 championship. So look here, guys. I'm going to just give you a brief synopsis of what we're going to see, and I'm going to get you guys take on the game, and then we'll do some predictions. Oregon Ducks come into this game winning their division in the North in the Pac-12, man, with a record of 10-2. Oregon Ducks take an L to Stanford early on in the season, and then they took a ass whooping to the Utah Utes just a couple of weeks ago. As they face Utah here coming up, Utah, man, they were able to beat Oregon handily. You know what I'm saying? They beat Oregon 38-7. It wasn't even close, man, down there in Salt Lake. So now they play them in the Pac-12 South, ranked number 17 right now. Oregon was pretty strong early on in the season, man. They went up to Columbus and beat Ohio State. We thought this was a team that was going to be able to run the table in the Pac-12 and just set their place at the table for the championship, man, in the Pac-12. But they took a loss to Stanford early, and then they took another loss to Utah. But they put themselves back into the Pac-12 championship. I think it's safe to say that they probably won't end up making it into the top 4. I think it's safe to say, but they are a Power 5 conference, so I did want to talk about this championship game. Banks, I'm going to kick it over to you here first, man. Oregon and Utah, man. Give me how you feel about this game. I want your First of all, tell me your excitement level of this game, and tell me how do you feel about these two teams and the matchup that we're going to see against these two teams after they just played each other a couple weeks ago?
Excitement. That's your answer. Pac-12, man, I have not watched any Pac-12 this year. Maybe an exception of that ass whooping by Utah beating Oregon. That's like the only time I've seen Oregon play on TV, only for them to lay an egg that way. No pun intended, ducks. But I, for one, I will watch it just for football purposes, just to see. Have no interest, no dog in the fight. I really don't care. Utah Utes, Oregon Ducks, meh.
All right. So hold on. So we'll get your prediction here in just a moment. Derrico, I'm going to kick it over to you, man. How do you feel about this game, man? Excitement level, and tell us how you feel about how this is going to play out, man.
You know what? Just thinking about and listening to what you were just saying, this might be one of the better games this weekend. Just for the simple fact that Utah just put them things on Oregon, and Oregon really, really need this W. So I'm going to say it's going to be a good game. However, Oregon, you ain't going to be able to hang. I think
Okay.
Utah has a tougher mentality than Oregon.
Okay.
And,
okay.
Yeah, I really do. And I think they're going to pull it out.
So for my excitement level of this game, man, I'm gonna say I'm at a 5 out of 10. I say I'm at a 5 out of 10. Banks, I'm kind of like you, man. It's the Pac-12. The Pac-12 really doesn't get any respect for whatever reason. Oregon had an opportunity to run the table over there, and they didn't. They stumbled. They fell and lost to Stanford, and they lost to Utah. So the Pac-12 is going to be absent from the playoffs this year. I think it's safe to say that they're going to be absent from the playoffs this year. With that being said, this game, I think I'm going to watch. It's going to be very intriguing because we all know, man, it's hard to beat a team twice. Utah handedly beat Oregon, and now we're going to a neutral site. We're going to Las Vegas to play this for the Pac-12 championship. I think, like Derrico, man, I'm with you. This might be exciting. I think Oregon is trying to get some get back. They want to show people they're not as bad as was perceived when they got beat down there in Salt Lake like they did. Neutral territory game. So I'm gonna give my prediction first. I think the Oregon Ducks come out on top in this one. I think the Oregon Ducks come out and get some get back. It's gonna be pretty close. I don't think it's going to be a runaway, but I think the Ducks take this one out in Las Vegas. Banks, how do you feel? Who do you feel will take this matchup?
I'm kind of with you on that. It's kind of hard to beat a team twice in one season, especially this close together. I think Utah kind of caught them at the right time of playing with their home. I think that was their senior game or something like that, and they had to play with all that emotion. I'll be honest with you. I think Oregon's going to roll. I think they're going to actually assert their will and show Utah that they are king of that conference.
All right, so we got Banks with Oregon, myself with Oregon coming out of the Pac-12 championship and being crowned the Pac-12 champions. Derrico, we're going to kick it over to you, man. Give us your predictions for this Pac-12 championship.
Oh, I already said. I'm going with Utah. I'm rolling with Utah.
Okay.
I'm rolling with Jam Old Team. I'm rolling with Utah.
Okay, rolling with Utah.
The fighting Utes.
Fighting Utes out of Salt Lake City, Utah, man. Going down on. So this game is actually going to be played on Friday, fellas. This game is going to be played Friday night, 8 p.m. on ABC out there at the Legion Stadium in Las Vegas. So Banks and I take Oregon. Derrico, you're going to take Utah. So we're going to move right along into the show. We're going to move into the next game.
Leo, are you writing this down? Look like you writing
Banks,
it down.
you can write it down. You can keep, if you want to keep score, man. If you want to be keep score. I have my prediction. So I have mine already written down on my note card, so I know who I picked, and I'm not gonna cheat. I mean, it's right here on the recording, so we can't cheat. So
I'm going with Vegas. I'm going with Vegas.
Okay. Like I said, man, Utah for Derrico. Banks keeping score. You and I both with Oregon. So let's move into the next championship game. That it could have had some implications in the playoff mix. I think. Well, actually, you know what? This game can still have some implications in the playoff mix. It really can, man. So the next game we're gonna move into here is going to be Saturday, 12 p.m. We got the Big 12 Championship in Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium. We got the Oklahoma State Cowboys against the Baylor Bears, man, out of Waco, Texas, man. So look, you got the 11-1 Oklahoma State Cowboys against the 10-2 Baylor Bears. Oklahoma State, man, has been a very, very surprising team this year. One of the things I talked about earlier was the parity in college football, right? Oklahoma State literally had an opportunity to run the table as well. And they ended up taking an L in the middle of the season to Iowa State, man. They lost by a field goal to Iowa State, 24-21. So now they match up with Baylor coming into this game. Baylor has actually taken 2 L's, so I think they have pushed themselves out of the realm of getting actually into the college football playoffs. They took a early L to Oklahoma State. They played Oklahoma State earlier back in the 1st of October. They played them, and then they also took a L against TCU. The thing that put Baylor in this Big 12 championship was a win over Oklahoma. So Oklahoma State and Oklahoma both had wins over Oklahoma. Yeah, I saw that there go. So that's what we're with Oklahoma State. Like I just said, Oklahoma State beat Oklahoma in the Bedlam game. Baylor actually beat Oklahoma in Waco. So I'm gonna go to you first, Banks. Excitement level Big 12 championship on Saturday out there in Arlington, man. Go ahead, give me your excitement level and tell me how you feel about this game.
Actually, I'm kind of excited about this, Leo. This is a big game for Oklahoma State. Them Cowboys, they know what's on the line. They win this game, it's a possibility they will be in this college playoff. So I think they're going to play like it's their season. And I'm not going to say Baylor's not going to play, but I know I said in the past it's hard to beat a team twice, but I think Oklahoma State know what's on the line. They may go ahead and get it done. I'm excited to see this game.
Okay. So yeah, the last matchup before I get to you, Derico, was it was in Stillwater. Oklahoma State beat Baylor 24-14, if I'm not mistaken. So 10-point margin. It was a pretty close game, man. It was a pretty tough, fought out game over in Stillwater. Now we're playing at a neutral site down there in Arlington, in Jerry's World. Derico, man, give me your excitement level about this game and how do you feel about it?
I was going to play devil's advocate since my good friend over there, Mr. Banks, stole my thunder with everything he said. So this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to keep it brief. Oklahoma State, like Banks said, know what's on the line. When you know that you have a chance to get into the college playoffs by winning this game, because you know one spot is going to be open, you're going to play that way, and I believe that it's going to be a 3-point game and Oklahoma State going to win.
Okay, Oklahoma State wins it. Okay, we're having a little technical difficulty here. Hopefully, Banks bounce back into the show here. Derico, if not, we'll have to figure this out. Let's see if he bounces back. We'll take a quick little pause here and see if he bounces back into the show. Banks, are you still with us? Banks, are you still with us? Derico, you still with me, right? You on mute.
Yes, I am here, Saya. He just dropped off completely.
He just dropped off completely.
When didn't he just bounce back in?
Now he bounced back in. I don't know how this is going to work. We'll try to get through it. We'll try to get through the show here. Banks, is everything okay on your end? What's going on? You on mute right now.
Everything's okay over here. It just
okay. You
stopped.
You dropped off. You dropped off. So hopefully this works out, man. We'll finish this up and hopefully everything works out. On what's going on. So as we were just talking, Derico just said that Oklahoma State is trying to get in. They know if they win this game, it's possible that they can get into the top 4. So with that being said, man, kick it over to me. Listen, I think this is going to be a good game over in Jerry's World, man. This is one of the games that I'm excited about. I had the opportunity to watch Baylor play Oklahoma and beat Oklahoma, man, in a very, very tough fought game down in Waco, man. A very emotional game down there in Waco, man. This Baylor team is pretty tough. Okay, Oklahoma State is a good team, but this Baylor team, man, has showed me some grit, some really, really, some real grit, man. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and start off with my prediction first before I give it to you, Derek. I think we already know where you're leaning. I think you already alluded to where you were leaning, but I'm going to shake up the world here, man, and say that Baylor is going to fight this one out because, like Banks said, man, it's hard to beat a team twice. You already seen them, you've already matched up with them, you know what you're getting into, man. You know where your faults were the first time you lost to them, man. I'm going to say that this Baylor team is going to scrap this out and they're going to beat Oklahoma State down there in Jerry's World, man. I think Baylor's defense is pretty tough. I think they're going to be able to take them over to get this out, man. Derek Cole, I'm going to get your prediction.
41-38 Oklahoma State Cowboys. They're gonna be the real Cowboys in Jerry World on Saturday.
Banks, I'm gonna kick it over to you, man. If everything's okay, you can hear me. Let me know. Give me your prediction for the Big 12 championship, brother.
I'm going with Oklahoma State. I'm just picking the Cowboys. And like Derek Cole say, not that Cowboys, but Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Oklahoma State Cowboys. Okay. All right, real talk, man. That's what's up. So Banks, I hope you keeping score. You writing this down, man. I'm the lone wolf taking Baylor for this game. I'm the lone wolf on this game. Derek was the lone wolf on the last game, but I'm taking Baylor in this championship, man. So we're gonna move right along to the next championship that could have some implications into what we see as far as the playoffs are concerned. And we are going to talk about the American Conference Championship. Wow, the American Conference. This is not a Power 5 conference, but this is a championship that is going to have some implications as to who we see in the playoffs. Okay, so if you didn't know already, man, you got the Houston Cougars. Damn, I gotta get that out. Houston Cougars at number 21 is going to face.
You said it right. They're gonna be cute.
The Houston Cougars facing the Cincinnati Bearcats, man, up there in Cincinnati. The number 4 ranked Cincinnati Bearcats up there in Cincinnati for the American Conference Championships, man. This is a crazy game here, man. Houston comes into this matchup 11-1. As quiet as it's kept, fellas, man. Houston's only loss was the first game of the season against Texas Tech, 38-21. We already know. It's no secret Cincinnati is that team. Cincinnati has said, you know what, man, we're going to try to get – last year Cincinnati lost to a Georgia squad in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl and said that loss was going to help them propel that program even further. So now Cincinnati undefeated going into this championship game in the American Championship in Cincinnati. So, Derek Cole, I'm going to give this one over to you first, man. Houston against Cincinnati. This is a big game when it comes to implications as to who makes it into the top 4. Where's your excitement level, man? Let me know where your excitement level is and tell me how you feel about this game in this matchup.
Well, my excitement level as far as watching these two teams play is not very great. However, I'm intrigued just to see how Cincinnati responds to all this pressure, because there's a lot of pressure. I mean, Vegas got them at 10.5.
Ooh, yeah, that is a lot of pressure. Banks, how do you feel? Where's your excitement level at with this game, and how do you feel about watching this game, Banks?
I'm kind of like Derek Cole. No, I'm not that excited, but I think I'm more excited to see if Cincinnati is that team. Like when they play a team where something is to be played for. You get in, you win, you're in my opinion.
Hey, fellas, look, I'm going to cut this, man, because I don't even see any – I don't see any line. I'm sorry, guys. I don't see any lines even coming up for Banks, man. I don't even see a foul for you, man. So I'm going to have to cut it, man, and we're going to have to try to –
I see lines. I mean, I see lines. I mean,
Okay, we'll continue to keep rolling if you keep seeing this, you keep seeing status file there, man. So go ahead, continue. Go ahead.
I was just saying that the Cincinnati have a lot to play for on a big stage. I know they played Georgia in the Peach Bowl, but I think this is a little different. You beat Houston, you in the big dance. So
Okay. So here we go, man. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll do the predictions for this game. I guess I'll start it out here to begin with, and then we'll move forward. I'm excited to see this game. I'm excited to see what Cincinnati can do. I think that this Houston team should not be overlooked. I'm hoping that Cincinnati doesn't overlook this Houston team, because this Houston team is pretty good. Like I said, the only L that they took was early on in the season against Texas Tech, and they railroaded everybody else they played in. They had an overtime game against ECU, but I mean they've handily beat everybody else on their schedule. I mean Cincinnati lines up right with the level of talent that they have down there in Houston, man. So even though Houston got to travel up to Cincinnati, I don't know. I didn't look and see what the weather conditions were going to be up there in Cincinnati this weekend. Could be cold, could be snowy. I don't know. That could be a factor. But with all that being said, I'm excited about watching this game. 4 o'clock here on Saturday. Cincinnati versus Houston. You could get in the building for $70, fellas. If y'all want to go up and check this game out, $70 will get you in. But I'm gonna go ahead and take the Bearcats in this one, fellas. I'm gonna go ahead and take Cincinnati. Cincinnati proves to the nation that they deserve to be in the top 4. They want to be in this playoffs. They want it bad. So I'm gonna give this one to the Bearcats, man. Banks, give me your prediction.
well, check the weather in Cincinnati. It's 51 degrees and sunny on Saturday, so perfect weather. I'm going with Cincinnati. I think too much on the line for them to drop it now. It's going to be one of them games that Cincinnati going to really feel like they arrived. So I'm taking Cincy.
That's what's up, Derek Cole. And this American Conference Championship, man. Who you got?
I got the Cincinnati Bearcats. Actually, I got them big.
Wow. Damn.
35-17, my prediction.
Oh god.
Wow. I'm going out there. I'm pushing them out there. I'm pushing them out there to show the college football world that they deserve to be number 4 so they can get their tails kicked when they get up in there.
Wow. Okay. So we go 3 for 3 on this one, Banks. You still keeping score over there? I hope you're still keeping score. We 3 for 3 on the American Conference Championship, man. Bearcats take this one up in Cincinnati. So moving right along, we're going to keep it moving here to the next Conference Championship game that we're going to talk about. This game, I don't know, man. I don't know how I even feel about this conference anymore, man, because they have not been able to produce like they should. This was a perennial. I take that back. So before I get into it, we're going to talk about the ACC Championship game, right? ACC, in recent years has pushed one team, basically. One team has carried the whole entire ACC, and that's been Clemson. Let's be real about this, fellas. As we talk about the ACC Championship, and I'm moving into it, man. Clemson has carried this conference. This conference, man, has kind of rolled off as far as being one of the top tier conferences. I'm gonna just say it. Clemson carried. Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers have carried this conference. No disrespect to any other team in this conference, but I don't know. It's been a fall off with talent. It's been a fall off with just them being able to compete. I don't know why. ACC used to have at least 6-7 teams that. Well, I don't want to say 6 or 7. I can at least say 4. I say 4. How about that, man? You want to talk about Miami? You want to talk about Clemson? You want to talk about Florida State? You want to talk about Virginia Tech? Those are the teams that come to mind when you talk about the ACC. But apparently, man, this has just been down for them the last several years here with the ACC, man. And we've got 2 teams now in this ACC championship game that nobody would have thought would have been here, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. So as I'm talking about it here, we got the Pittsburgh Panthers. Wow, Pittsburgh Panthers at number 15 right now, playing the ACC championship on this Saturday at 8 p.m. up in Charlotte against the Wake Forest Demon Deacons at number 16. I be damned. Pittsburgh against Wake Forest. Banks, I'm gonna give it over to you, man. Really, not a lot of implications. Not a lot of implications in the playoffs because you got a 10-2 Pittsburgh Panther team that's taking on a Wake Forest team, if I'm not mistaken, that is also 10-2 in the Atlantic. So Coastal champion, Pittsburgh Panthers, Atlantic champion, Wake Forest at 10-2. Where's your excitement level and how do you feel about this game in the ACC Championship, Banks?
I have no excitement for this one. Has no implications of the college football playoff. Good. I mean, kudos to Wake Forest for a great season, man. They really, really shocked a lot of people for playing this well. Pittsburgh, I can't tell you anything about Pitt. I don't know anything about them. I didn't even know they were in the running. I apologize. I have not been watching ACC football. The exceptions of maybe Miami a couple of games, Georgia Tech a couple of games, Clemson a couple of games. That's it. And I don't know, no excitement there. But
man, they had a real crazy game. Like, so Wake Forest literally, man, until they got into that North Carolina game, man, down at Chapel Hill, man, they lost 58-55. Good God, 58-55 to the Tar Heels, man, in Chapel Hill. And then after that, they took another L to Clemson, man, a couple of weeks later. Wake Forest had literally set themselves up, man, to kind of run the table. And we were looking at a Wake Forest team possibly going in as the Atlantic champions, you know, with one L. But they dropped the L to the Tar Heels and then another one to Clemson. So now with 2 losses, like you said, Banks, man, this ACC championship just doesn't really matter. But I mean, we're gonna watch it. Derek, I'm gonna kick it over to you, man. How do you feel about this ACC championship, and how do you feel about the ACC as a whole not being able to assert a team to be in this college football playoff, man?
Well, you guys should know that my other team, I don't like using that term, but my other team is Florida State. So I watch the ACC. However, this matchup. Oh, let me say something to you, Mr. Leo. You said something earlier about parity in the college football realm. So you saying that don't work in the ACC? Oh,
Hey, man, it's
I'm just
worked this year.
I'm just asking. But for real, on the real tip, Pitt, Wake Forest, nobody really cares about this game. I mean, like nobody really cares about this game. So I'm not even gonna waste my time talking about this game. Go Wake Forest.
Oh my God. Okay, man. He just jumped right over it. He didn't wait for the prediction. So look, man, I go ahead and get this up here, man, so we can move on and we can kind of close this out here and move. So ACC championship, I'm going to go ahead and give my prediction. I think, man, I watched Pittsburgh play a couple of games this year, man. I think this Pittsburgh Panthers team is pretty damn tough, man. I think they're pretty damn tough. I'm going with Pitt in this game, man. I'm going with the Pitt Panthers over the Demon Deacons, man. And I don't even think it's going to be close. I think Pittsburgh is going to put foot to ass, and it's not even going to be close up there in Charlotte, man. Up at Bank of America, man. Banks, giving over to you, and then we'll give it over to Derrico, and then we'll move forward.
Pitt Panthers, you might as well call them Pink Panthers. Listen, sentiment on what Derrico was saying. You watched ACC because of Florida State. You said something wrong, sir. You said no one cares about these 2 games. People in Wake Forest care. People in Pittsburgh cares. So somebody cares. So with that said, I'm going with Wake Forest over Pitt on a close game.
Okay, Wake Forest over Pitt in a close game. So that's me with Pitt, Banks with Wake Forest, Derrico.
I initially said Wake Forest, but I think I'm gonna change my mind. This is gonna be probably the only upset of the weekend. So let me go with Pitt.
Okay, 2-1. So we didn't get three.
I mean, will
three in a
that
row
really
on this
be an upset? I mean, really?
I said no one cared. You had to say the fans of Pittsburgh and Wake Forest.
But
We
they
had to make
do.
predictions.
The people in Pittsburgh cares, and Wake Forest fans, if there are any, cares.
What time is
So
the game?
I mean,
What time is the game?
It's 8 o'clock. I think it's 8
who
o'clock
cares?
Saturday.
I
Okay,
mean, yeah,
so
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, Boy, brutal. No love to the ACC, man. Golly. No love to the ACC. So we're going to move right along here. So here we go, fellas. We coming up. We coming to the end. We about to close this thing on out. It's getting exciting. Oh, it's getting exciting now. Here we go. So we're moving into the Big Ten Championship Game. Big Ten Championship Game. The best conference in college football, right? The Big Ten. Big Ten, best conference, college football. Am I right or wrong? Nobody even looks at me when I say this. You guys still with me, man? Y'all about to take a nap. Big Ten, best conference in college football, from what I understand. Somebody told me that. I don't know. Big Ten championship coming up here. We got the Michigan Wolverines, who I just talked about earlier, man, that moved up into the top four for the college playoff rankings, and they're going to take on the Iowa Hawkeyes in the Big Ten championship out there in Indianapolis, Indiana. So, man, Michigan. Wow, man. Michigan, 11-1, man. They win the East. They exercise some demons. Jim Harbaugh, first time ever beating Ohio State. In the big house. They finally were able to put an L. Jim Harbaugh was finally able to put an L on Ohio State, man. Ohio State had been giving them nightmares in previous years, but they couldn't run the table. Their in-state rival Michigan State was able to put an L on them. They lost to them 37-33 over in Lansing a couple of weeks ago, back in the end of October. So you look at the Iowa Hawkeyes and how they got here. They're a 10-2 team. They played pretty well starting out with the season, but they took 2 back-to-back L's, one against Purdue and another against Wisconsin, and they lost pretty handily to both of those teams. 24-7 loss to Purdue and a 27-7 loss against Wisconsin. So we're moving into the Big Ten championship, man. The best team in best conference in college football. I'm gonna kick this over to you, Derrico, first as we talk about this Big Ten, man, because there are big implications as to how the playoffs shake out with this matchup. So, Derrico, I want you to talk a little bit about this matchup and your excitement level, brother.
Okay. Michigan versus Iowa. It could have been anybody else except Iowa against Michigan. Anybody else. But it is Michigan versus Iowa. The only thing that I'm going to say about this game, if this game was being played in Iowa, it would be the perfect trap game for Michigan. Coming off that huge win at against Ohio State. But since it's not at Iowa, Michigan is going to come through and put them hands on Iowa.
Okay. Already alluded to his prediction. Banks, kick it over to you. Give me your excitement. Give me your excitement level first and foremost, but for the biggest conference title game right in the nation, Michigan versus Iowa, man. Give me your excitement level about this game and tell me how you feel about it, man. Come on.
I appreciate your attempt for that introduction for that conference, but we're gonna pretend like you didn't say that. Back to the game, Michigan versus Iowa. Kind of like what Derrico said. Michigan had that incredible emotional win over Ohio State. Now, you can always make an argument about when a team plays that high and with all that emotion, it's kind of hard to duplicate it back-to-back weeks. Which is why I'm kind of on the fence on this game. Iowa could still upset them even on a neutral field. I'm excited about it because it has huge implications. Michigan, I'm kind of intrigued to see if they can do it and what they can do in the playoffs. But I mean, I for the most part, it just stands at that. I'm excited just to see what they do for an encore.
Okay. So I'm gonna start this thing off, fellas. I think this is gonna be a big matchup, and I joke about a lot of our Midwesterners get offended when the Big Ten doesn't get any love. We don't love on the Big Ten enough. You know what I'm saying? They got like 4 teams over there in the Big Ten, and they feel like, well, you don't get enough love in the Big Ten, man. You know, we got Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, man. We really get. I get it. Okay, fellas. All right, so this is gonna be my moment to give the Big Ten some love, man. Big Ten. All right. Big Ten. There it is. And there it is. So going into this matchup, man, I'm gonna give my prediction. Banks, man, I'm kind of following you, man. I like this is another game I see as a game that Michigan may have had their highest of high trying to beat Ohio State last week. They knew they had to beat Ohio State. Harbaugh's job was on the line, and they beat them. But here's the thing, man. I think that they put every stitch of effort and energy into beating Ohio State. Can they beat Iowa? Absolutely. But I think now, after having such an emotional win and such a tough win, that this game against Iowa now is going to be a scrappier game than they wanted to be. And I think Iowa is going to sneak it and beat Michigan and shake this whole thing up. I think I'm taking Iowa to win this game. I'm taking Iowa to take this all the way down and win this game by a touchdown. Banks, I'm gonna give it over to you. You tell me who you feel like is gonna take this one.
Well, my brain is saying Michigan because they are the better team. They are the better team. But my gut is telling me that Iowa, just a simple fact, man. And you coming off the highest of highs. And to come back and duplicate that same thing just a week later, that's just not, it screams trap. I mean, it does. It screams trap if I've never heard one. I'm gonna go with Iowa. I mean, just on that alone. I mean, I was leaning towards Michigan because I felt like they had the run game and the pass rush, but had they not played the game like they played against Ohio State, I would have thought different. But that was too much. That was they gave Ohio State all they can handle, and they beat them. Now they got to do it against Iowa, and they might be still celebrating. They hit hell, I don't know, but it just don't sit right with me.
Right. Banks taking Iowa really quickly. Moving on, Derrico. I know you already alluded to, man. Derrico, give us who you want so we can get into the real deal, man. Come on, let's go.
Okay, I'm the lone wolf. Harbaugh has to have this game. Period. He don't want Ohio State victory to be the talking point. He has to have his game. So I'm going to go with Michigan 28-24.
Okay, Michigan there, and there it is. 2-1 again. We got 2 Iowas and 1 Michigan. So now here we go. Creme de la creme. Here we go. Let's talk about it, man. With no further ado, let's get into this SEC championship, because that's what we're here for, fellas. That all that other stuff was an introduction into what the real game is going to be on at 4:00 right here in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz, the SEC championship. Excuse me, fellas. Number 1 Georgia versus number 3 Alabama. So when I talk about this game, I want you guys to go ahead and talk about it, and then we'll give predictions. I'm gonna go ahead and go first and give my prediction as we talk about this game, man. So I am very excited to see Georgia, undefeated team, rolling into this SEC championship. This is something that we've been waiting for. Like we talked earlier, Derek, the stars are aligned, the moon, the stars, the tides, everything has. And I didn't mean to say tides, but everything has lined up in Georgia's favor in order for them to get to where they are, man. This is lining up to be Georgia's for the taking. Let's be real about this, man. SEC champion, and this is nothing to sneeze at, guys. The SEC championship is, I loved on Big Ten for a minute, but this is the real. Let's be real. This is the real championship, man. SEC football is where it's at. That's why Oklahoma and Texas are moving into the SEC in 2 years. That's why this is where you want to be. This is where everybody wants to be, the SEC. And this championship now is Georgia against Alabama. Next door neighbors, here we go. All right? So before I get my prediction, I will say this much, man. And Banks, we had this conversation off air on yesterday. I have the utmost respect. I will say this much. I have the utmost respect for Nick Saban. He is only followed by one other college coach. Bobby Bowden, I have probably, in my opinion, between him and Eddie Robinson, 2 of the greatest college football coaches that ever coached. You You talk about that other guy up there at Penn State, man, but his legacy was tarnished. But Eddie Robinson, Bobby Bowden, and then I think Nick Saban has to be put up there as probably one of the greatest college football coaches ever. That's just it. I have a lot of respect for Nick Saban. And to quote Ric Flair, 1986 before Starrcade, before he matched up, in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man. You got to beat the man. Right now, Alabama looks wounded. Alabama looks sad. 4 overtimes to Auburn. Lost to Texas A&M. They've had some struggles this season. But guess what? It's still Alabama. It's still a Nick Saban coach team. Okay? So I'm going to have to put that respect out there. With that being said, put some respect with a K on Georgia's name. Put some respect on Georgia's name right now as them being the number 1 team, undisputed throughout this year. Being probably one of the greatest, we're watching, fellas, one of the greatest defenses in college football that we've ever seen. One of the most dominant defenses in college football that we've ever seen. You know, we had a couple of haters. You know, that guy Terrence Moore on ABC on WSB the other night wanted to toot Notre Dame, the 1986 Notre Dame defense as being one of the – man, shut up. Dude, what we're seeing right now is unprecedented. What we're seeing out of this Georgia defense is unprecedented, man. The Georgia defense is literally beating teams into submission. They are imposing their will. Banks, like I told you the other night, they are putting their testicles on people and saying, hey, you can't do anything about it. This is jailhouse football. We are that dominant, man. Sideline to sideline and physical, we are. This Georgia defense, man. This is Georgia. This is where we are. I feel strongly about this game. I feel strongly about foot to ass to any team that lines up against us. I don't have a lot of time to go into some of the chinks in the armor, but man, this is Georgia's year. This is a foot to ass game, man. Georgia, without any question, SEC championship, man. I'm saying 38-17, Georgia. Derico?
I don't know if I can say anything after that. Woo. Woo. Listen, I feel strongly that it is UGA's time. There's not going to be any more 1980 jokes. I feel strongly that this defense is so good that that defense is going to put the Terrence Moles of the world on notice. That defense ain't nothing to play with. Nick, you had a good run, but not 2021. I'm sorry. You struggled last week. You're probably emotionally spent from almost taking that L in Auburn. So, you want me to give a prediction now, or you just want me to just see? I'm excited about this game, but I'm just holding my composure.
Give your prediction, and so we're gonna give it on the Banks, man, so we close this thing out, man.
My prediction, man, you on the same wavelength now with this number, because I had it on my paper. Just so y'all don't think I'm lying. 38 points. And Alabama, 24. Not enough. And that's a lot. And that's a lot of points for our defense. Just for the simple fact that I got to give Alabama respect when it comes to Nick Saban.
You gave him a little more respect than I did. Hell, Banks, you the closeout man here, man. You the closeout man. This is you. Me and Derico set the table. You the closeout man. Let's go.
It started off back in Clemson when we played Clemson, beat them 10-3. And we played South Carolina and we destroyed them. And we played Arkansas. We played Vanderbilt. We played UAB. We played Kentucky. All the teams we played this year, we basically opposed our will. How good does a team have to be when the fans are upset because they scored a touchdown? I was angry. I was angry when a team scored. We will be up 38-0 and they scored and I'm pissed. How good do you have to be and dominant when other team scores just a point? That's how good they are. Tennessee takes pride. To this day, I kid you not, fellas, the team that scored the most points this year, they scored 17. They take pride in that. We're the only team that put 17 on Georgia. How good do you have to be when you score just 17 points in a blowout fashion? You are very good. Now, with all that said, you're looking at Alabama, and Alabama struggled with Auburn 4 overtimes. Should have lost. You struggle with LSU, who has no coach. Embarrassing. You struggle with Arkansas. Oh, by the way, the team that UGA shut out. You struggle with Florida. Florida, the same Florida that celebrated because they beat Samford? That Florida? Or is it a different Florida? Oh, the Gators. Oh, okay. Yep, that team that Georgia destroyed. I say all that to say, and you want to come into this SEC championship playing like that, you're going to get rolled. Now, I will give you respect when respect is due. I will let you know that Nick Saban is the greatest coach of all time. I will say that. And I will say that it is going to be a football game. But on paper, what I'm looking at a defense, a pass rush that's going up against an average to mediocre offensive line with Alabama. I'm sure they're looking at chops. I'm sure Nick Saban's going to have them ready. But my score prediction, I'm saying it's going to be about a 45-17 win. You heard it here, 45-17. Sorry, you're not scoring more than Tennessee.
We are committed. We have said it with our chest. We are stand behind this team.
Ooh.
Georgia rolls in this SEC championship, maintains their dominance, goes in number 1 to the BCS. Well, I don't think the BCS is thinking about it. Goes into the college football playoffs, the number 1 team in the country, rolling right in. So with that being said, man, there are a bunch of hiccups. There are a bunch of things. So if the things play out the way that we've all talked about here, I know Derrico, Banks, we've all given our upsets and our shakeups really, really quickly. And I don't know if you guys are prepared to do this, but when it's all said and done, I know it was another game really quickly. So I'm gonna give a really quick blow over before we move on and end the show. I have to do this. SWAC championship, Jackson, Mississippi, man. Jackson State against Prairie View A&M. Gotta give love to the HBCUs, man. Gotta give love to Deion Sanders, man, and what he was able to do down there at Jackson State, man. So the big SWAC championship out there in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi this weekend, man. I gotta give love to that one, fellas. No predictions, but man, I think we gotta give some love, man, to the HBCUs. Derrico actually has a prediction. And really quickly, I say, I think Jackson State, man, takes this one, man. Jackson State has asserted themselves as being the most dominant HBCU now, has put themselves ahead of everybody else when we talk about HBCUs. Really quickly, Derrico, go ahead. I'm going to let you talk.
They at home, it's going to be 53, 54, 55,000 rabid fans in Jackson, Mississippi. And they are going to destroy Prairie View A&M. Destroy. I got 38-17. That's the same. That sounds like a prediction you had earlier.
38-17. Banks, you want to talk a little bit about that SWAC championship?
Yeah, just basically just proud of Deion and sticking with them kids, man. Them guys, they got athletes too. And a lot of people don't want to look at it. And it burns me up to hear people say, the next Florida State coach, can they lure Deion Sanders away? No, they cannot. He is already there at Jackson State with them kids there, and they whooping ass and taking names. With all that said, Prairie View, you walking into a buzzsaw. This is their year. I don't see any other way that you guys are going to beat Jackson State. Just just participate. Just be a part of the celebration.
just beat it. Hey, pull out this shit, man. I will say this much, man. My old coach used to say, man, shout out to my old coach, Coach Fletcher. Hey, we gotta lace them up. You gotta lace them up, man. You never know until you lace them up, right? Everybody got to put on their cleats and go out there and play the game, man. So you gotta, hey, if you lace up your cleats and go out there on the field, you got a chance, right? You got to.
Hey, you
got a chance.
What did Mike Tyson say though?
Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Exactly. But look, though, hey, you got to go out there, lace the cleats up, man. You got to play. You got to let the chips fall where they may, man. Who knows? Prairie View might come out there and say, you know what? Hey, not today, but it is what it is. So, fellas, look, man, we've come to the mark of this show. We had a lot to talk about, man. Very, very excited about college football and the conference championships coming up, man. And hopefully we'll be able to come back and revisit our predictions, and we'll talk about the college football playoffs and the bowl games moving forward, man. So, look, guys, as always, man, it's been a pleasure. Before we leave here, man, I want you guys to promote yourselves and shout yourselves out. Banks, I'm going to kick it over to you first.
All right, you can just look for me Antoine Jarrell Banks on Facebook, or you can find me at Baby Banks 80 on the gram or Twitter.
That's what's up, man. And the long running, Banks is still looking for a social media manager. So submit them. He's still looking for a social media manager. Damn it!
Slide in his DMs.
He loves people to slide in his DMs. Oh man,
I'm gonna let that slide, Y'all can slide on that. Slide on out the door.
Derek O, man, let everybody know where they can see you, man.
Hey, y'all can reach me on Twitter at VSU96SDD. You can catch me on IG at Derico_Virgo. And if you special, you can catch me on the book at Stacy D. Derico.
Is it still the book? Or is it meta now? What's going on with that? I don't know.
Hey, until they change it on my app, it's a Facebook.
Until they change it on the app, man. All right, so check it out, fella. You can always catch the Leo G Show, man. We do have a page on Meta, Facebook, whatever the case may be, man. Holler at us over there, the Leo G Show on Facebook, man. Also catch us on Twitter, the Leo G Show, the #1. I haven't been very, very active over there on Twitter, but I promise if you engage with me, I'll engage back. I've been trying to give some access to Derico as well, and Banks possibly here. We'll get some access so we can kind of engage people as they engage with the show, man, because I don't know, man. Maybe I've got to a point in my life, fellas, that I'm just a little old, and I'm like that old guy in the yard, stay off my lawn situation, man. It's just too much to keep up with. You got the Facebooks, the TikToks, the Instagrams, the Snappy Chats, all these. I can't keep up with it all. I just can't. Banks, maybe I need a damn social media manager too. Hell, shit. So it'll take some applications for a social media manager.
Slide in them DMs and let him know.
Yeah, holla at your boy, man. Let us know, man. Always catch us, like I said, on Twitter, the Leo G Show, the #1 on Twitter. Also catch us on Facebook, man, the Leo G Show, man. You can also catch me on my personal Twitter account, man. It's Southern Set with 2 T's, Southern Set with 2 T's. And holla at me there, man. So we've had a great show tonight, fellas, man, talking about this college football, man. And hopefully next week we'll be able to record, man, and come back and talk about all the predictions that Banks have. We can't get out of them. This is recorded, and we got them all. So we'll come back and talk about these predictions, see who reigns supreme, and talk about moving forward into the college playoffs, man. It's been another edition of the Leo G Show, man. We'll holler.